He was going numb slowly, which he supposed was better than dealing with pain. "I will be fine." "Eventually," Ethan bit out. "But that will take time, and I will not have you suffer in the interim. Next time you are wearing my armor, as well as taking my sword." "No, I will not have you unprotected. Besides, you know I do not like to wear full armor. It slows me down." "By the gods, you are a stubborn man," Ethan hissed at him. "Will you not let anyone help you?" Jaykun didn't reply to that. He loved his brothers, but he would not depend on them for anything. It was not that he didn't trust them, but he would not burden them with the trials of his life. They were his to bear, and no one else's. "You, Mem, come and help my brother," Ethan called out suddenly to a Mem passing by the opening of the tent. She was very young and fair-haired, and since she was a priestess of Wesa, the goddess of conflict and war, she wore armor. It was hardened leather like Jaykun's was, meant to help protect, but light enough to move in. Of course, leather armor had its flaws, as was exhibited by Jaykun's present condition, but overall it did its job. The young Mem knelt beside Jaykun, her eyes widening when she saw the evidence of where the sword had entered. "Take off his armor," she instructed Ethan as she drew a satchel from around her neck. She set it on the ground and rummaged inside it as Ethan quickly worked the straps of Jaykun's armor. He pulled the vest away, making Jaykun grit his teeth from a fresh wash of pain, which reminded Jaykun he was indeed injured. Fresh blood pumped freely from the wound Ethan had exposed. The Mem's eyes widened again. It was not common knowledge that Jaykun was an immortal warrior. There were whispers and speculation, some soldiers having taken note of how quickly he healed from injury. Too quickly, even with the help of a Mem. But no one knew for certain because the brothers had not wanted to spook their soldiers with talk of them being cursed. Now it was possible they would have little choice but to address the matter, or they could swear the Mem to silence. Most of the men and Mems were more than a little intimidated by the strong and relentlessly war-hungry brothers. Still, the Mem was a full witness to Jaykun being alive while wounded in a way that would have killed any other man. Depending on the nature of the Mem's personality, she was likely to tell someone eventually. People talked. They simply could not help themselves. It was just in their nature. The Mem put together a poultice and spread it over his open wound. Then she laid hands on him, closed her eyes, and began to recite her healing prayers. About 10 minutes into this healing process, their youngest brother, Gareth, arrived at the tent. "What happened?" he asked breathlessly. Gareth was covered in blood, the red of it staining his god-made armor. There was an enameled picture of the Wayflower, the flower of the goddess Wesa, in the center of his breastplate, and it was smeared with the congealed fluid. Gareth was the shortest of the brothers, but he was still quite tall and not more than a hand shy of Ethan, who was by far the tallest of the three. He also had a leaner, more athletic build in comparison to his bigger brothers. All the brothers were green-eyed, although each pair was shaded a bit differently. Each brother also had curly hair, but Ethan's was a chestnut brown. Gareth's was as black as night, and Jaykun's was a deep golden blonde. Ethan was wearing his hair long these days, twisted into 2 thin braids at his temples with a single long braid down his back. Each braid was tipped with a flame-red feather, a gift from his fire mage wife, so that he might have something to remind him of her. Gareth's hair was shorter and unadorned, curling just around his ears and the nape of his neck. Jaykun's blonde locks were of a similar length. Gareth knelt beside his brother and seemed to check his color. Jaykun swatted him away. "Stop fussing over me as though I were an old woman who has fallen over her own feet. I will be fine given time. Tell me, is the battle won?" "We fare very well," Gareth told him. "Get back out there and see it through to the end. I want this city." Gareth hesitated, not wanting to leave his brother. Oh, he knew Jaykun could not die any more than he could, but he also knew just how painful these injuries could be, immortal or no. "Do it!" Jaykun barked. Gareth rose to his feet. "Let's get him into a bed. Give him a cup of wine. Maybe it will improve his disposition." He helped